Sitting by the Fire, a podcast on ancestral wisdom, medicine, heritage, and transformation by Anna Shoyom. Hi, everyone. Very good morning, very good afternoon if you see us in the afternoon hours. Welcome to the next episode of Sitting by the Fire. Today, my guest is Mikki, and Mikki is also an ancestral medicine practitioner, and I think you're connecting from the US, from New York, to this podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Would you please introduce yourself? Because I think you can do it much better than I would do.
Sure. I'm Mikki Baloy, and I am living in the Hudson Valley of New York, so north of New York City. And I say that because it has a very particular character here. It's kind of its own thing. Um, and in addition to doing the ancestral medicine practices, I'm also a shamanic practitioner. And so I've been studying and practicing in that way for probably about 15 years. And I'm also an author. So I'm working now on my third book. And the subject of this one and the last one was my relationship with Mother Mary. And it's been a really fascinating, beautiful relationship to have from a more animist point of view. She's very much a Mary of the forest and the rivers, and not so much a Mary of the pedestal. So.
Oh yeah, I imagine that. Actually, I know about Hudson Valley from Sophie Strand, an author I also read.
Yes. Yeah, she is
You know her?
also. I don't know her personally, but I think we have some people and places in common.
Yeah, I think you live in this, you share the same land below your feet. And that sounds really nice.
Yeah, she's upriver a bit, but yeah.
Upriver. Yeah.
Mhm.
And how have you arrived to work with shamanism and to explore the Mary secrets?
Oh my
It's
gosh.
intriguing.
Sure. Um, when I was a child, I got very sick, and um, I had what my mother at the time called fever dreams, hallucinations from the illness. But
I
it turns
feel
out very high fever. And it turns out that the things I was seeing were actually helping spirits, but I had no framework for understanding that at the time.
Mm.
But as I grew up, I asked a lot of spiritual and sort of philosophical questions and challenged some of the ministers at the churches that we would go to, and was very precocious. Um, and kept studying religion through college and after. And so at one point, it was sort of going through a big transition point in my life. And at that point, met a shamanic practitioner who was accepting students. And so,
Wow.
in that kind of intellectual way, I took the first class really just to be a bit of a nerd, and but while I was
Yeah,
there,
absolutely.
yeah, while I was there, I had a big spiritual experience, kind of a spontaneous initiation, um, where I was sort of in an altered state for like 3 days without having taken anything, you know.
Wow. Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yes.
So that was hard to ignore, and so I started training with him, and then since then with other teachers as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's the shamanism piece, anyway.
Yeah. You're deeply involved in rituals. As little as I know about you, I saw you're offering even helping people to get married and celebrating uh all the sacredness of life.
That's a lovely way to put it. Yeah, traditionally, the shaman, by whatever word or name you want to call that person, would be the ritual keeper and the one that you turn to for your rites of passage and So I was ordained by an organization called the Circle of the Sacred Earth, and that allowed me to do the rites of passage in a more official way. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
one of the things that I love to do is perform weddings. So I have a bunch coming up through the spring and the summer now.
I'd love you to live in Budapest because I may have a wedding coming in this September.
Oh,
Really love to. But yeah, we're a bit far away.
I'm game. If I can get there, I'd be so happy to. Yeah.
Okay,
Huh.
let's think about it.
Okay.
But a little bit back into rituals. Well, I'm I see myself as someone who is growing in rituals. So I am very newcomer to rituals, to say so. So it's been maybe the past 4 years that I would say that I really try to call myself a ritualist. I'm leaving behind the imposter part. So I can say that, yes, I do feel that I can offer rituals and I feel the spirit in it and the power in it. Um, I don't know where it comes from. So I'm always like really curious because I think creativity is something really important also in rituals. How do you see that?
Mm.
Can you confirm, or what is a good way to approach rituals?
Mm. I mean, for me, I think first of all, there's sort of a distinction in my mind between ritual and ceremony.
Okay, that's very important. Absolutely.
So for me, and people frame this different ways, but for me, ritual is a thing that we return to over and over again, and it sort of anchors or
Mm,
creates some structure in our day. Whereas ceremony is like a wedding; it's a thing that happens hopefully once, hopefully.
like rite of passage
Yeah.
also.
Yes. Yes. Right. So the ceremony is more of like a punctuation mark, right?
Okay.
It's the transition moment. That's the way that I see it. And so I think we're all engaging in ritual all the time, but the difference is the mindfulness and, as you say, like to bring spirit into it really deliberately. So I mean, you can make brushing your teeth like a really sacred thing, right? It's a thing you're going to do every day, and if you call your people in and
Yeah, or you
you
talk
know
to your teeth while you're brushing them.
sure, yeah, yeah, right, I'm grateful, I'm so grateful I have these teeth and this,
Absolutely,
whatever.
absolutely.
So that could be ritual. I think, the way that we walk into our office in the morning,
Absolutely.
or
That's
the
like
way.
speaking about habits that creates our own life. And if we bring mindfulness and intention,
Mhm.
maybe I think intention is one of the key words when we speak about rituals and ceremonies.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, because if you don't have that, then it's, I don't know, like, what, I don't want to say what's the point, but there is a kind of sleepwalking or something,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, like walking into something without knowing what you're really walking into.
Yeah, yeah, or why you're there, or
Right.
how you want to connect, or yeah, yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So, so yeah, so I would venture a guess that you're probably much more skilled in ritual and always have been, right? And
Uh,
and you see clients and are creating space for clients too. That's ritual.
yes, that's a ritual too. I think we don't, in the very secular world, we believe that we don't do rituals. So
Hmm.
there is in the mind, there is like a division between religious or sacred. I mean, the Western mind, speaking about the Western mind that
Hmm.
I grew up with, and then there is the sacred. But there is so much more. It's not only black and white. I mean, you have the mystical things, that's also part of religions as well, we can say. And then you have the mystical part, which is not part of religions, but it's still mystical, and you don't know what is it, but it's still there. We could call it synchronicities, for instance, or bumping in a friend at the other end of the world, and you didn't know that you're traveling to the same spot.
Hmm.
For instance, so or maybe you just go out on the street and there is a butterfly that lands on your hand and then it moves away, or just seeing a deer. That would be also something
Hmm.
fully mystical or deep recognition between two beings that belong to the same nature. So my
Mm.
point is that maybe when we include nature and when we include all the other than human beings, this is when we can expand our word to include ceremonies and rituals that are really great, the world we want to live in. How do you see that?
Yeah, I absolutely. That's beautifully said. Yeah, I mean, it does sort of go back to the intention, right? Like, what kind of day do you want to have? What kind of relationships do you want to have? And then you sort of structure your rituals or move through your rituals with that in mind. And it's not always going to be connective, you know, like I think about all my time on the yoga mat, and sometimes it's blissful, and sometimes I just want to go watch TV instead, you know, I'm just not, I'm not feeling it.
Yes, absolutely.
But
Do you
but
still do it when you want to watch TV?
yes, I'm getting better at the discipline and kind of seeing the value in showing up. You know,
Yes.
if it's a 5 minute sleepy practice, then that's what it is. But I showed up, and there's a like a trustworthiness in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're having a date with yourself. It doesn't matter what shape you are,
Mm.
but
Hmm.
you be there.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
So
Love that.
yeah. So the creation of ritual, I think, is maybe without expectation, but with intention.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I find that I don't know if it's good to have expectation in rituals. I think it's because as I see it, it's not only us. We're actually, there's a pledge to something else, something more than us to collaborate and put their part. So how can I have any expectation if I mean, they either
Uh,
put their part or they don't. I don't know. I can make my best wish that it happens, but that's like the blessing. It may arrive or may not.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's how I feel it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think that's relationship in general. That
Oh
we,
yeah,
you know, that we can have our hope and our intention, and we show up, but we have no control over
the other person.
anybody else's day. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, and you know, I used to do a lot of theater, and I think theater is ritual 100%, you know.
Absolutely. Yes.
um, and it's very much like that, right? Like I can learn my lines, but I'm not in charge of anybody else's memory. I'm not in charge of the audience reaction. You know, I didn't make the electricity go through the lights onto the stage. Like none of that's up to me.
No.
So yeah, there is that surrender piece.
Yeah,
So,
that's very important, the surrender piece, I think. Mm. I come back to one curiosity I have. How do you become an ancestral medicine practitioner? What brings you to ancestral medicine? And did it come before or after getting in relationship with my Mary?
hmm. um, I think Mary came first, but the books came after. So you know, in studying shamanism, a lot of the teachers and the people that I would share ceremony with, and particularly the people who had First Nations backgrounds, they would all say like, "You're welcome to be here. You know, it's all well and good for you to be in this space with us, but you also need to get right with your own ancestors."
Oh, okay, I see. Beautiful.
Um, and I would say, awesome, terrific, sign me up. How do I do that? And
Where do I start?
nobody, yeah, yeah. But nobody ever really had the map.
Yeah.
You know, there's no instruction manual that I could find. So, but it was always sort of kind of floating in the ethers that that was something that I wanted to do, that I'd been advised to do, that felt important to me. And then, you know, the serendipity, as you were saying, some mailing list that I'm on sounds true, or
Yeah.
the Shift Network or one of those was offering a talk with Daniel, a free talk on the ancestral lineage healing. And so I, you know, again, mostly out of that kind of nerdy curiosity, I signed up, and that was that.
And
So
that was
here we
straight.
are. Yeah.
Yeah. maybe it's a good thing to be nerdy when it things that you're really interested in. That's like a compass, no? Like, oh, I'm curious. Let's see what's there. I always picture a dog going and sniffing, and when they get it, it's just like, shoo, there we go.
Yeah, that's well put. Yeah, I think following our curiosities and our passions is usually a good thing. Can lead us
Yeah,
interesting places. Mhm.
yeah. So then ancestral medicine really fit in your shamanic practice because now you engaged in ancestral lineage healing, you have your own people with you.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's changed the way that I work for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I keep it separate. Like I don't blend the two ways of working, but for sure to have all of my people with me when I see a client, I think makes it all much stronger and safer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you know, if I do any divination or anything like that, I know exactly who these messages are coming from, and
Oh, wow. Yes.
yeah. So it's definitely given a structure and an integrity to my work that I think wasn't necessarily there before.
So it changed the way you work and it changed maybe on a way that it's more structured and more grounded. That's the words that comes through me when I imagine the people like our ancestors like being there.
Mm,
This is for me, that's the felt sensation of either I'm so it's like I have a really good metaphor to that. I was just thinking about it because I lived it that so it's in my daily actions I try to when I'm doing a project I try to like check in with my people if it's okay, not okay, or da, da, da. And then I know the difference, but it's only posteriori, unfortunately. I don't know the difference before, not yet. I hope to learn that, but at least posteriori, I know the feeling that, oh, I was going like headstrong, like the dog,
right.
but not checking if his friend is coming after him or something like that. So maybe my people are trying to hold back. No, not yet, and not that past. Or
Mhm.
I really like take the time, and there is the time importance now, like sitting down, checking in, and then I really can feel my feet on the ground. So there is like a groundedness in it, like it's the earth is collaborating in it in some way,
Mm.
just
Mhm.
me lying all around.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I understand that. I could echo that. Yeah, it is a groundedness, and I think it's made some of the more esoteric, abstract ideas about healing or about connecting with the earth, or it's made those ideas much more grounded too.
Yeah.
Um, because I've experienced so much through my ancestors in a way. You know, I've kind of felt the way that they've connected with the earth, you know, or I've felt the way that huge amounts of healing can happen very, very quickly, but the integration takes time. You know, like these ideas now feel very real. I understand them in a way that I didn't before.
What helped you to understand it in this different way?
Certainly going through the process with my own people. You know, you can understand that there's unmetabolized grief, for
Absolutely.
instance, in your family and in your body, but without having an outlet for it, without being facilitated with it, it's abstract. It's not a really real thing. But then once you're facilitated and you're going through the process and you feel in your body, in your bones,
Mm.
what it's like to shed some of that, you know, um, I think not only do I have more insight into myself, but I have a little more empathy and
Oh
maybe
yes.
insight into other people's experience too.
Yeah. Yeah. So feeling it in our own selves, maybe that's one of the helpful transformations. So that's one of the point of the process that helps the transformation to happen. Do you
Mm,
think?
yeah, Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't have to know everything about what my client is going through, of course,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, just to be able to offer them the kindness that I know helped me and offer them a little of the grace that my people have offered me, I think is as
Mm.
as good as anyone could probably do.
Yeah, I think that really fits in grace and kindness. I think also that's like the two super antidotes of
Mm.
suffering, because I think when we're really feeling unwell and we meet someone kind, it can hurt a lot, because that's the type of kindness that you say, oh, I'm so unkind with myself, and this person is so kind to me. Oh,
Mm.
that hurts.
Mm.
But then passing through maybe the first layers of that, and grace, the grace that you speak about, that's the offering of possibilities and opening of
Mm.
perspectives for me, something like that. I, I think that's really beautiful. Or smelling a rose, that's also grace.
Yeah, yeah. I love that wording. I want to keep that. The grace is the opening of the possibilities. That feels very true in a way I haven't thought about before.
Mm,
Thanks for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, thank you for the inspiration.
Mm.
I think I never said that yet, but I feel like it's so when I met with ancestral medicine, and maybe it was for you too, maybe not. It's like really like being enclosed in a one pointed story, or one perspective story, or
Mm.
something like that. And then also meeting with the practitioners, doing the courses, learning, exploring the heritage of my people, then eventually doing a DNA test. And that's like really, there is an expansion, and there is also grace. So there's like a softness in it.
Mm.
I never I think that we are really the granddaughters and the grandsons of those people who lived before us. So I really, that's the only approach or encounter that I received from that. Oh, okay, hello, granddaughter, something like that. Like someone really friendly and nice, and oh, that's so good that you're here. What took so long? That's another question.
Yeah,
That's a good you're here.
yeah,
And fine. Did
yeah.
did you experience that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And there are edges in it, again, like the grief and, so many traumatic things have happened through so many generations and diasporas and all of these things. And so there is some rough terrain in it, but it's all happening within this sort of bubble of safety and kindness and comfort and yeah, understanding, um, that makes it okay to go there, you know.
Hmm.
And certainly, having the wise ancestors, the guides with us, who are grandparents who know us so well. Um, yeah, it's another layer of safety that they're not going to bring us places we can't tolerate. They'll hold our hand through the whole thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
I love that metaphor. The holding hands, the holder hands, the
Mm.
hold hands. Yes, absolutely.
Mm.
And can I ask about your book? I'm really curious how that comes into this equation with your ancestors, with shamanism.
Mm. So yeah, so in my early studies in shamanism, I was journeying a lot, and one of the spirits that kept showing up was Mary.
Mm.
And I kept thinking, no, 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 you have the wrong house, you have the wrong girl, you want to go down the block to the Catholic Church. But she kept coming anyway. Um, and then she started to encourage me to write down the things that she would say during the journeys. And then she encouraged me to start basically journeying with other people with her. So effectively channeling, although that was never a thing I wanted to do, to do. I was never taught to do it. It just started to happen that way. And
Wow.
so from all of those journeys and all of those conversations with other people came the first book.
Wow.
And you know, as long as she wants to keep talking, I'll keep writing. So I'm on the second book now, which is going to be titled Pilgrimage, because I've had the good fortune to travel to a lot of pilgrimage sites, and she's had some things to say in those places too.
Oh, wow. That sounds beautiful. That's so how was it for you to discover that now you're channeling and now you're channeling Mary?
It's still strange to say, like and I think in part because I've been in the ancestral medicine community, and what I'm experiencing with Mother Mary is basically the same thing that we've all encountered with our own ancestors, with our own people. You
Yeah,
know, if you're encouraged to speak and describe the experience that you're having, and someone else can write it down,
exactly, exactly.
you know, that's basically it. That's how it is with Mary. So it doesn't feel super like
Yeah.
woo. It doesn't seem so out there. It's
Mm.
just having a conversation with somebody who's not in a body right now.
Yeah, yeah. You know, very interestingly, sometimes it reminds me, and not only in ancestral medicine sessions that really like a ritual container different, but also in therapeutic sessions. What I have with clients, a compassionate inquiry sessions when we get in touch with our different parts or younger parts. I feel like we're all channeling. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, you know, like, or if it was, it's just like when you go to a family constellation and you don't talk, you leave yourself behind, but you put yourself, it's like a ritual theater. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
going to the theater that you spoke about. Like you offer your body to some energy stream of that family system. That's what family's constellation is. And then there is someone who is helping to resolve the situation. But that's also in a way channeling because I offer my own body to feel things that may not be mine. And so I came to the resolution that possibly channeling is something like this. And now you're saying that it is. So it's like, good, okay. Then I'm not, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
The
I don't think it's a crazy thing. I don't, you know, it's certainly not a culturally like acceptable and popular thing, but I
no,
don't
no,
think it's
but
unique.
no, and I would say that also exists in the Catholic Church, in the evangelists. I mean, maybe not that part. What was the name? I don't know. Okay, I don't know, but I had in a part in my life where I was, so I was baptized when I was 2, but I also have Jewish family, and this is my Catholic family from my mother's side. And I I grew up very liberal, but when I was maybe 20 something, 24, I went to the Camino in Spain,
Mm.
and I told it, okay, I'm Catholic, so I can do what they do. No, so I would go in a church and put myself in the queue and take the body of Christ. And then there was someone who was Hungarian and working at the church, and she came and talked to me like, oh yeah, well, are you Catholic? And I said, yes, 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 I am. But it's been so long. I didn't do well the ritual. Okay. So this is how they
Mm.
discovered me. So what happened is that she said, I desire you to discover what happened there, what you did. And it came true. There were like 7 years in my life when I came back to the church and I discovered the mysteries of Christ,
Mm.
everything around which is beautiful. And I'm deeply in love with the mysteries
Mm.
and the mystic part. And then I would go to different meetings, and there are some friends pulled me in the meeting of the charismatics. And what they do is praying and channeling.
Huh.
Absolutely. So they would come, and there was some prayer trance, and they would tell me, then you have they would tell me things, and I would feel blessed, absolutely, in the state of blessing. Like, oh yes, I love it.
Mm.
So I think maybe that's something that all the mystical branches of the religions also recognize. Because if we think about the Sufism, I see that when a poet is really in love with the divinity, that's also kind of like channeling that love. Is it absolutely different?
Oh, no, I think you're spot on. I mean, I wouldn't I don't know if it's imposter syndrome, like you were saying before, or what, but I don't want to like sort of aggrandize what I'm doing, and I wouldn't say that I'm, charismatic or a whatever Hafiz or something like that. Um, but I do think that yeah, there's a current of energy, and we can either pay attention to it and invite it or not. And yeah, and I feel super lucky and still a little bit baffled that Mary is here. But I'll take it. I'm not going to argue with her and second guess it.
Of
Yeah.
course. Can I ask you another thing around that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel after you connected to this current of energy, Mary?
Hmm. Um, it's hard to describe, which is part of the reason I trust it, because it's that sort of ineffable quality that I think good spiritual stuff should have. Uh,
Mm.
but I do feel like I get out of my own way.
Mm.
The stories I'm telling myself about the world, or my own self-importance, or how things are supposed to be, or any of that, like that all just very gently gets put to the side, and not in
Oh, wow.
a not in a bypassing way, but just in a like, yes, I hear you, and here's this other way to look at it, here's this other
Oh,
love and
listen.
grace. So it's a warmth and a comfort, and also I think a bit of an invitation to grow, so that I feel that way more often. You know,
Wow.
there's
Yeah.
some responsibility is a strong word, but there's I'll use it anyway. That now that I've experienced what that's like, I do kind of have a responsibility to walk that way as much
Yeah.
as I can.
Yeah, I think so. That's a beautiful way to put it. And thank you for putting it like that.
Mm.
I think that when we get in touch with um, those good things that spark our soul or our inner desires and connections, inspirations, maybe we have a responsibility around that. Also for ourselves, and if it's good for the others, then also the other people. Like, okay, I can bring this to you.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I remember Daniel at some point in one of the teachings saying that, if you invite, I'm paraphrasing, but if you invite connection with spirit, like, are you willing to let it change you?
Yes, yes, yes. That's good wisdom there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a novelty. It's not a thing that you can take on or off.
No.
So, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, again, like I do feel the sense of like, oh, well, okay, if this is happening, then I have to step up a bit. And I do still feel like there's some agency here. Another reason that I trust her and trust that this is a good relationship is because I don't feel forced at any time. I always feel like there's consent, like mutual consent
Quite
involved.
important. Mm.
Um, and we know from the ancestors too, like that's a very big part
Yes.
of like a good healthy relationship, especially with a spirit, or even with a spirit, maybe not especially.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, like opening a parenthesis, if someone would do or come or have done or interested in doing the ancestral lineage healing course, that's the basic course of Daniel's based on Daniel's book, Ancestral Medicine. And I'm just quoting that because I was supporting one of the calls. Maybe you've been there as well. I don't know. But, and I don't even remember who said that. But we had a conversation around toxic energy or not toxic energy, so good energy. And basically, I think it was either Shannon or Danielle who said that the big difference is the toxic energy is not going to ask for your consent. It would just come and throw you out wherever you are. But maybe it's not even good or bad. So maybe it's not in this binary understanding of the word, but something that is doesn't want to go through you, but wants to offer something that you can take if you're interested. I would use this wording, maybe adequate to the.
Yeah, there's an offer. There's an offer that's extended rather than a sort of self-interest, I guess.
Yeah, or imposing
Yes.
upon someone. I think that would be the wording. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I really love these reflections because I think that's something that we can go back all the time because life is happening and the world is happening around us. So I want to come back to the ritual that you said, that it's something that we repeat and it's like the capstone of our lives that we can build up on. So it's good to maybe have some clarity around what are those energies or energy streams that we consent to be present in our lives, and what are those who maybe we have not given consent but they are there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have access now. I mean, the first thing I think of is my phone and the internet and that constant energy stream that I've consented to a little.
Yeah, but not as much as we get. Yeah,
it's completely overwhelming.
Yeah. Maybe one of the challenges of living in this 21st century is a constant self-regulation. Like, because it's just so appealing to a child part that, oh, I could play 24 hours and eat chocolate and I don't know, drink juicy, sweet drinks or whatever. That's like with the phone, I think, because they're the news, they're the friends, or they're the constant advertisement, or if you use social media for training to be visible and you do things, it's just like a constant feeding in. So maybe the feeding in, I think, is an important word, because if we feed in that, then we're going to become empty in a way. And maybe the energy streams is also like we're offering something ourselves as well from ourselves. So this is why how we regulate ourselves in that way, getting this term from therapy, mostly like how do you allow your nervous system to calm down and have the quiet time to regenerate energy, or that energy that we can then offer to others and be with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that definitely. Yeah, all of the practices that we need so dearly right now.
Yes. What is helping you, Mikki? What's your good practice to?
Oh, it's interesting. I was invited to speak at a Unitarian church, and so I was just writing a talk for that, and they wanted me to talk about hope and optimism, and I thought, well, that's a tall order right now.
Yeah.
And they said, that's okay, you can be transparent about it, but like, we'd love to hear what you have to say about that. And I was like, oh no, I don't know what I've got. But as I started writing, I realized that there are things that that I do keep returning to that help, I would say first with self-regulation, but then from there, the hope and the optimism.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to be inspired or creative or really connect when you're diffuse and all over the place and kind of a hot mess. So
Absolutely.
the things that have been helping me are prayer, for sure. I pray twice a day. And again, just like yoga, even if it's like, yeah, hi guys. I'm tired, bye, you know.
Yes,
So I
yes.
show up and I do it twice a day. Um,
Mm.
and and I've been spending some time outside. There's a lake nearby. I try to walk near the lake and get some fresh air and expand, like literally expand what I'm looking at
Mm.
instead of all of these little boxes of my phone and the computer and the TV, you know, to expand.
Yeah.
Um,
To see nature TV.
yes, yep. Widescreen, immersive.
Absolutely widescreen. Yes.
Yeah.
Four dimension, no, as they say, because in the movie theaters you can go to, I don't know, the 4D movie that would be like, or 3D movie, I don't know. So it's not only 3D, but they are pinching you and you get some
You can
rain on your face.
smell
It's raining.
everything.
And if someone is shooting an arch, then it's just like bumping in you. So well, you can go out to nature,
Right, right.
right? Yeah,
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 amazing. Um, yeah, yeah, and then joy, honestly, and that's been a difficult one
yeah,
because I think you know, particularly here in the States, there's so much that's not joyful, and so much that I think you know, at least in my circles, we feel like we have to be worried about, and we have to be kind of in the soup. Um, and so to be joyful feels like a luxury.
yeah, yeah.
But I think it's also fuel. You know, it's how we know what we're fighting for.
Yeah. It's maybe also part of the medicine, like coming back to the light, and bringing back a little
Mm.
particle of that to wherever we live.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, beautifully
Yeah.
said. Hmm. Yeah, it's the it does help, I think, regulate the nervous system to have a good laugh or to look at something beautiful. Um,
Yeah.
but it is also a reminder that like humanity is more than the worst of us. You know, humanity is more than the trouble.
Absolutely. And I heard one thing that you didn't say explicitly, but you used the term we. So maybe you speak about more people, not only yourself. That means there's a community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think communities are so important in these days.
Yes, yeah. Mary actually talked about that not long ago, that if we don't know what else to do, to step in towards people. So whatever you can do that is remotely connective, go do that, because
Yeah.
being together will reveal the next step, or it will reveal the skill that you have that you didn't know you had, or you
Yeah.
know that we can't change things in isolation.
No, absolutely. And I just got goosebumps as you said that. I
Mm.
really, really love that. And just thinking about how inspiring it is to talk to you.
Oh,
That
thank you.
this is already togetherness. So it's like I think what we have, and it's really important maybe to know. I think there's something that we should teach in schools or something like that, that we are connected. Humans are connected to the nervous system. So there is something that we can call the resonance. So a nervous system is going to attune to another nervous system. And usually children's nervous system is attuning to the adult's nervous system, and the adult's nervous system is attuning to the most grounded nervous system, if there is in the room. And if there is not, then everybody is just
Mm.
going nuts. So which I think is basically points us to go and learn from the trees, which is really something crazy, possibly, but I'm discovering that you really need roots to be able to stand in the storm.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. And trees also talk to each other, right?
Oh,
There's science out recently
yeah.
about the way that they have
Yeah,
jokes, right? And
oh, they have even jokes. Yes, exactly, and they can. So it's also, I think, the fungi, the mushroom networks that they have through all around the roots. And so the root system are connecting to mushroom systems, and they're connected to other roots. And yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful society. I remember reading, I think he's called Peter Wolleben, the Secret Life of Forests. Maybe some. He's a German forest person. I wouldn't say forest gardener, but it's a forest keeper, something like that. So
Okay.
he put in. He's written a book on his 20th experiments of tending a very old forest in Germany, and how he also observed that those trees that conserved only a part of the trunk with the roots, it was still not dead for many, many long years, because the other trees were sending them through the network of the mushrooms sugar to keep it. So there is a lot of community in the trees. Yeah. You spoke about an oak tree and just beside a lake, I think, where you go to.
Oh, there are, yeah. Yeah, the trees are magnificent there. Yeah. And even across the street from me, there's a white pine in my neighbor's yard, and every time I see it, I'm like, huh, I say hello to each other.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, the trees are magical, beautiful teachers.
Yeah. Mm.
Mhm.
What would be, Mikki, like, if there is, I know there are many things, but maybe if you want to highlight one, two, three that why you believe that connecting to the ancestors can be important in these days.
Hmm. Um, well, I think, first of all, because it's a way to stop the cycles, or at least to pump the brakes on the cycles that we speak about, generational trauma or different kinds of abuse and these things that happen within family systems, but we forget that the family system is actually hundreds of generations. And so including the ancestors in that conversation helps us really finally heal those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess this is the second reason. It's true individually, but it's true collectively as well. And all of these, merry-go-round sort of terrible patterns that we're in as societies, again, like including the ancestors and their wisdom and everything that they've seen happen throughout world history. And um, yeah, to welcome their goodness into the conversation is a way to really finally make the changes that we say we want to make.
Yeah.
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 And then the third thing really is like, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, this is such a natural human thing that we get to do. And
Yeah. We forget that
mhm,
it's part of it's like a forgotten part of our own self in a way. Like when you miss an organ and you didn't even know you have that organ because it's been so long you're missing it.
yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. So it's part of what we're built for.
Hmm.
So why not do it?
Why not do it? Why not have our own elder council if we can have it?
Yeah, yeah, and all of that love. Yeah.
All that, yeah. May that love spread along the globe. That's
Mm.
my desire. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Mikki. It's a
Ah.
pleasure. And yeah, you can find Mikki's contacts here down.
Well, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure. Delightful. I could do this all day.
Oh, thank you. Maybe we do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. See you soon.